In today's video, I wanted to jump in. I thought, you know what, I'll throw out a few beginner sort of tips, mistakes, and hopefully that helps a couple of guys out. So stay tuned. So I made a list of, I just see Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals still coming through. It's all been extended. But beginner mistakes. So I thought I'll rattle through a few here. Number one, not thinking like a beginner. I actually would really see this in jiu-jitsu. I remember walking out the back room one night and there was two of the sort of newish blue belts doing flying ninja moves, and I just remember thinking, when you're a beginner, think like a beginner. A good example of this is guys that are trying to get, say, a kip and pull up in CrossFit. It's like, you're not there yet. Rather than trying to kip or kick harder, go back and learn how to do lots of pull-ups, and then add weight to lots of pull-ups before you try your kipping. In the same way of, rather than trying to work on a snatch, get an overhead squat, make your overhead squat look really good. If you're trying to get a kettlebell swing, what's your sumo deadlift like? What's your normal deadlift like? What's general hip hinging like? So as a beginner, it's very easy to get sucked into the sexy stuff, and I would always be saying, think safe before sexy. If you want to get a snatch, don't jump in and start practicing snatches. Look at getting your ankles more mobile, hang out in a squat as much as possible, working even a broomstick over your shoulders. Number two is majoring in the minors. You see this loads with beginners, and I use one, for example, quite a lot when I'm chatting to my dudes, but a guy had said to me years ago, what do I think of green tea? And beginners will generally focus too much on the likes of the supplement side of it. But he said, Neil, what do you think of green tea? I read it burns 10 calories if you drink a cup of green tea. And I went, yeah, that's brilliant, but you've just told me you have sausage rolls for breakfast most days of the week. So no amount of green tea is going to cancel out sausage rolls for breakfast. So generally beginners will major in the minors, and it's not supplements, it's not fat burners, it's not the fancy cable crossover single arm push down whatever that gets you in good shape. It's the simple stuff done often. Number three with beginners would definitely be a lack of structure. I would chat to guys and I'm like, well, what are you doing in the gym? I go, I'll go in and do a bit of this and a bit of that. And I always say that's like going into school and doing a bit of geography, a bit of maths, next day you do a bit of history, a bit of science. If you're going into the gym and doing a bit of this and a bit of that, or a bit of this and a bit of that in the house with lockdowns and various things, you're not really going to get in shape. I know very few people in shape, if any, who got there from doing a bit of this and a bit of that. Generally, there's a structure, there's a plan, there's a process, there's end goals or later goals, and then you work backwards to today. So you have your goals, and then you break that down into your sort of long-term, medium, short-term, and then your behaviors. And it's like, well, what are the behaviors today that equal the long-term sort of goals? The Goldilocks approach. What is the Goldilocks approach? I love it. The Goldilocks approach, especially as a beginner, is trying to work in that sweet spot where the weight is not too light, but it's not too heavy. Generally, your rep ranges will sort of dictate your weight, but beginners, I often find, go super, super light, and they never get to feel any tension in their body, and that's an important part of progression. Or they try and go too heavy. And again, if something says go for 12 reps, then you might not want to use a weight where you only get 3 or 4. Or if something says get 6 reps and you feel you could do 20, well then maybe that's too light. So the Goldilocks approach, not too light, not too heavy, but a weight that allows you to perform it technically well. On all of your reps. So your first rep looks good, 5th rep looks good, 10th, whatever the amount of reps is, you look good throughout your set. Big one with beginners is not realizing how important nutrition is. Like when you've had a good go at your nutrition and you've had a proper look at it and you've made a few tweaks, you'll see changes in your body shape quite quick as a beginner. And once you've done it, you realise that's an important part of this whole process. You know, you can't outrun your mouth. You can't just go to the gym, burn 200 calories, and then go home and go, oh, I'll have a wee Chinese because I was at the gym. Nutrition is a massive part of obviously changing your body shape, and I think a lot of beginners will either focus on, they'll have an Indian on a Saturday, but then they'll be out buying creatine on the Sunday, as opposed to just looking at having a bit more of a better overview at their overall plan. Another beginner one is patience. So I'm saying to my guys now, I'm saying, listen, it's December. Summer bodies are made in the winter. If you want to be in shape July, August next year, now is the time to be putting in the work. And I remember being a kid, like, and we would come back from holiday in like August or whatever, and you were thinking, oh, imagine the shape I could be in this time next year, you know, 12 months maybe before my next holiday, and you would have really been thinking about that. And we would have been training every day, maybe twice a day at that stage, in sort of late teens, 20s. Whereas now people are like, I've been good all day, why am I not ripped? Or have a wedding on Tuesday, or have a birthday on Saturday night, or whatever it is. It's like, you know what? You have to be patient with this process. Getting in shape is hard, it's long, there's parts of it are grim and you have to put the work in, but the rewards will be there. They just take some time, so you have to be patient. So yeah, that's just a couple of quick wee snippets for the beginners out there, just something to think about. I have so much on at the minute, but my next video will probably be a bit of a post-course video, and I'll give you guys a wee bit of a few of the nuggets that come off the back of that. So remember to like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.